Hi everyone, I hope you had a great Easter weekend and are looking forward to another week of learning. I figure by now everybody's probably gotten into a pattern or a schedule. I have sort of too. I work from home 4 days, but I am at the library on Tuesdays. So if you happen to find any library books that need to be returned, I've had a lot returned and I'm really happy about that. But if by chance you find one when you're in your house, let me know and we can make some sort of arrangement to maybe get it on a Tuesday. Also, somebody donated a box of books and I've had some other just random books show up. So I'm assuming that those are ones that are donated to the library. So thank you, because we can use all of those books. And as you're home, if there's any other books that you would like to donate, please check with your parents and see if you can bring them to me, because we can use them in the library. I'm going to try and put together a list of series that we have and the books that we're missing from those series. So maybe we can fill in some gaps so that when you start on a series, you have all the books, which would be really fun. So I hope you are doing well. Last week's question, those of you who answered were correct. It was the tale of Peter Rabbit. So again, this week's question you can do either through Google Classroom or email me. Most of you have chosen to use Google Classroom, and that is awesome. This week's book is a book I think you'll recognize. It's a Caldecott book, and it's an illustration again from the inside of a book. But I think if you look, if you need a clue, somebody asked for a clue last week, that's fine. I will give you a clue so that you can figure it out. Last week I told you I was going to finish reading The Adventures of South Pole Pig, and I did. And it says a novel of snow and courage by Chris Kurtz. Well, it is a story about a pig who is very courageous. It's also a story about friends and how they stick together. And the pig doesn't give up. So it's a good book about not giving up. So I would recommend this book for you to read. This was my copy. I will be putting it in the library, so if at some point you want to check this one out, you may. Just a fun book. I am going to attempt to start reading this book, which is a historical novel called Iron Thunder by Avi. And we have some Avi books, and I know those of you who have read Avi really like the writing in those books. So this is a historical novel, and I am going to try and get through this book this week. Since it is Poetry Month, I went a little different route today. And as you know, there are poetry books in the Bible. Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Solomon are all poetry books. So I picked Ecclesiastes 3. You probably have heard this. A time for everything. For everything there is a season, and we are definitely in a season right now. A time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to tear and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. We are definitely in that time, a time to refrain from embracing. And hopefully soon we'll be back to a time for embracing. So I just wanted to encourage you that we are in a season. We are in a time. Life has lots of different seasons to it, and we're just in a time that we need to be home right now, and hopefully very soon we will be back together. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Meditate on these words. See what fits for your life. And I will talk to you next week.